JJ, the CPA here. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for joining us today, Tuesday, the 28th of April. We already have people up. We already got 4 thumbs up, Amanda.
Awesome.
So we really appreciate that. Rusty, let's see. Oh, yep, they wouldn't have been caught up. That's right, on the EIDL. Last I knew, the EIDL is still not up. Rusty, hello. Blair, good day to you as well. We just sent to the post office something for you. Clay, EIDL will be tapped out. It could be. Previously, we're in a situation where the 40 billion was asked for. And all right, Card Shop Reality, Brad, hello. Danielle, thank you so much, fellow CPA. But yeah, they're talking about basically, 40 billion was already asked for, so it's hard to know. It is hard to know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Serena. And Dax, good to see you. Jesse Lopez, Frank, Nancy H said, oh, a commercial. I didn't know. I thought that we didn't have that during the lives, but I guess so.
Yeah, you do.
Rocolo and Blair, helicopter with 5 trillion in cash is probably a close estimate to what is needed. Yeah. Sarah K, hello. Gene McIntyre, how goes it? We got some stuff ready and sent to the post office today for you.
JJ and Amanda, this is Mrs. Darkwater Mags. Jason is out diving today, but I'm watching and taking notes for him. Well, hello, Mrs. Darkwater Mags.
I love it. Yes, Sergey, I don't know. That PPP and the UAP, it's a tricky deal. Depends on the state. They're kind of meant to be the same thing. Coaches Pit Barbecue. What's going on? What's up? We've got Rob and Gwen. They are from but they're from Wichita, Kansas, and there's a reason I know that. And let's see, we've got Augie, Tiffany P, so no more SBA. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just saying that there was a lot more requested, but I don't know where that number came from. So we'll see. I mean, the fact that they said it's being replenished to 10 billion. But remember, they started going down to the 1,000 per employee, so that may make it last a lot longer. So we'll see. I am hoping. Mike, what's up? Roy, thank you so much. Coaches Pit Barbecue from California, And let's see, we've got Stefan, hello, from South Louisiana. Augie, I think, we'll see, we had a question from Augie yesterday. Someone had sent me a video of it, actually. It was kind of interesting to see that. Jason, let's see, Tiffany P and Roy. Who else is on, Amanda?
Last specialist, as you helped me and my friends that own a business get the PPP the first time, I feel like we owe you big time.
Well, thank you so much for that. I'm just glad that you were able to get in, that you were at a bank that was able to get you all taken care of. One of the things that, hey Trish, one of the things that I've really seen with the smaller banks around here in Oklahoma is that they're getting it done. I had a client that reached out to me 10 a.m. and said, my bank's not getting it done. I'm getting concerned. So I sent him to my bank. They've got 2 branches, and we got everything to the banker. And the banker probably had everything by, let's say, 1 o'clock. And within 2 hours, it was submitted, approved, funded. Loan documents are coming to the client. They'll have their money within about 48 hours. So I've said it before, if you've got relationships with the smaller banks, or maybe you need to start one, we did have an email from Joshua. I'll just skip ahead. And he had put in application several places. I don't think it's a good course of action, because if you're doing multiple, maybe it does cause there to be an issue. I do think, though, if you applied somewhere the first go, you didn't get anything, or you didn't hear from them and you've left it sit with them, and you went and found somebody else, that's probably okay, but I'd probably be concerned if you applied this go around 2 to 3 places. I understand the reasoning behind it, but it could be then it locks up potentially if you're going this go around 2 to 3 places. So who else we got?
We already said hi to Jean McIntyre. We have Rusty's back on, Christopher, Donald, and Alma. Hi, you guys. Make sure that you are hitting the thumbs up button. And if this is your first time here, we would love it if you would subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with JJ and all of his information. He goes live every day at 4 p.m. Central.
And let's see, so Mike Fisher, what's up? Simi Valley, fellow CPA. We got Roy. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad that you're able to help, and what a great testament to you as well, helping out your fellow real estate partners and people that you're doing business with. So that's awesome.
Glass Specialist says they had to teach the bank, and they did that because of you.
Well, we've been hearing that, so I'm glad that you absorbed it that much. So Jennifer Trey and Annette, let's see,
Fred.
over 2 million will be audited. Oh, interesting. Annette's hearing something back from the audit. So we got Fred and we've got Lauren. Yes, clients having trouble getting employees coming back to work because they will make more money. Need employees to pay PPP loan funds. Yeah, so whatever we don't have, I've been saying from the beginning, we probably need to get some things from the employees signed saying that they did not want to. They're saying they couldn't hear you too well, so you'll probably have to speak up a little bit when you're talking. But anyways, that you might need to get something, or tell your clients they need to get something from their employees saying that they've offered them a job and they won't come to work, because when the employers go in for PPP forgiveness, according to 1106E, they are to bring the unemployment filings. It's not anything that can be hidden, obviously, right? Got social security numbers, EINs, cross-referencing, all that good stuff. And so you don't want your employer clients to be on any trouble. So, well, let me tell you this. We have been so appreciative of people that have reached out and wonderful emails and comments, and I'll be the first to say that I just have had no time to reply to comments on the actual videos. So if you've left comments, I'm sorry that I haven't gotten to those. From fellow CPA from the Big Apple, I appreciate that. But I just simply have not had time for that, and so that's why I've been saying, hey, contact the email, so to speak. And so we do have some emails. We're going to allow a little more time to get to those. But I want to tell you, I was visiting with a good friend of mine, and I'd probably call him more than a good friend. I've never had a mentor other than my grandfather, but my grandfather passed away when I was 25. Just a mere 9 days, I believe it was, after I opened my practice. May 15th, I opened my practice in 1997, and then my grandfather passed away. I think it was 9 days later. I know it was before the end of May. And just a side note story to that, when I went out to his office in Agora Hills, California, on his desk was my business card that I had sent him announcing my CPA practice, as well as my announcement on his desk, my business card. And then of course he had business cards on his desk. And so anyways, I took one of his business cards and the one that I had sent him, and I've had it framed, and it's pretty special. But obviously he was my mentor, but probably more my mentor when I was in college to become a CPA. But my mentor, probably really starting about 10 years ago, is the perfect mentor. The perfect mentor in the sense that when we struck up our friendship and started interacting together, it was a very indirect benefit to each other. Very indirect benefit. So there was nothing contingent upon our interaction, our relationship, our friendship. Play golf together, and then it was so influential that I ended up turning into an insurance agent because of this fabulous person. And so anyways, I put it in my book. I don't remember what chapter, but I said, I've never had a mentor other than my grandfather, but if I did, it would be Mark. So with that being said, he and I visited for about an hour and 10 minutes today, and we were just kind of reflecting. We haven't had time to catch up since all this has gone down. But what he talked about, and I'm not going to give away too much of who Mark is, but very influential individual and very well-known individual, especially in the business community and throughout this region and within the company. Everybody knows who he is within our company. That's nationwide, that I'm involved with on the insurance side. But he had said, and basically, what? Would you mind handing me those notes right there? That's right underneath the thank you from Joyce. I don't know. Is Joyce on from Hawaii? The top couple pages there. Is Joyce on from Hawaii? Maybe. Amanda will take a look and see. We just want to say thanks, but she sent a nice. But basically, what we were talking about is that what's going to be our concerns. And so I know everybody's spitting out questions right now, and I know everybody's trying to get their answers, right? So I will tell you, email us your questions. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to your questions that come here live. We'll try. It's hard to. We have a lot of emails, so jj@jjthecpahelp.com. I'll probably just voluntarily tell you, and hopefully you don't just hit stop and then stop watching, but it'll probably be tomorrow before we can answer your email because we have a number of them to get to. So here's the thing, especially for those that are wonderful individuals, which is all of you, but that you're here all the time. I really appreciate that. And Tina and Kenda and Julio and Clay and Diana at times, helping everybody in the feed. But what do you see as your concerns over the next 5 years? And you don't necessarily have to put them in the comments. Maybe email it to me. I'm going to put a video out there that I will pay attention to the comments on that particular video. But I'm putting it out there. What are we concerned about from the standpoint of the next 5 years? And when I was talking with Mark, my mentor, he said, I really think it's going to come down to safety and security. Right? So we've all kind of been shaken up a little bit in terms of, wow, I didn't realize that the savings that I have wouldn't last as long. Or is it really important that I have my kid in 3 soccer clubs? Or do I really need to volunteer in everything because it's been so nice to have a little more time at home? But also, what we're probably realizing is that we really weren't as safe as we thought we were. We really weren't as secure as we thought we were. Not to say that we were in some kind of shambles here, right? We are the United States of America. But at the same time, for the government to kick out the multi-trillion-dollar package that they did, which is well appreciated, not as a negative, but if we really reflect on this, it's like, wow, we really weren't prepared for a period of time of being shut down. And who would be, right? Who would be, right? But at the same time, how quickly did you get a sense of insecurity related to your financial well-being? How soon did you have an insecurity about your health well-being, so to speak? And so I think really the things we're going to be concentrating on over the next 5 years is safety and security. And so we talked about it probably for about 30 minutes. And it was so influential, the discussion I had with him, is that that's really going to be what I really think. I'm about a third of a way through this book I want to release right away. But that's, I think, going to end up being a big focus of it. It's going to be JJ the CPA here by the numbers, because the numbers are so consistently the spinal cord, the backbone to every business. Is what is the skeletal makeup of every single business And it's the safety and security. And so even from those that work for the businesses, how quickly was your safety and or security affected by this? So what I think we want to focus in on is that, and I don't mean for the rest of the hour, but you know, I would really love it if, and again, I'm going to put a video out and I'm going to be asking for this all week. But right now we've been concerned about PPP, EIDL. How do we get back up and running? So I feel like for me, my focus with my clients is going to be how do we relaunch? Because that's what we're getting ready to do. We're relaunching our businesses. Now, when we have a relaunch, maybe when we think of it that way, it doesn't sound as daunting. Because when you're launching a business, you probably don't have a logo, you don't have an LLC agreement, where's your bank, you know, who are your employees gonna be, who are your customers, is this a good location, how much will my revenue be, when will I be busy, how much will my cost be, right? When you're launching a business, you don't know these things. You may think you do, but any of you out there that have started a business or been around a business or had a relative that started a business, what happened in the first 6 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, most likely was not where that business owner thought they would go. And I just mean in terms of maybe their niche or their specialty, right? Most of them, they go by the demands of the market. But when we all launched our businesses for those fellow business owners, or if you're selling real estate, how'd you know how many houses you were going to sell? How did you know what your niche was? How did you know what to wear? How did you know what kind of customer was going to really connect with you, right? If you're cutting hair, right? What's really your style? Are you going to be tatted up and kind of funky, or are you going to be a little more reserved and working with the older folks, right? If you're a restaurant. So from my perspective, we're going into a relaunch. And here's the positive with a relaunch. You know who your customer is. You know where your location is. You know who your employees are for the most part, or at least you know the type of employees that you need. So you have a lot going for you. You know the seasons that you're the busiest. You know when to prepare. You have an idea of your costs. You have an idea of your revenue. Think of this, if you are starting your business over, and in some ways this is kind of how you're doing it, what would you do differently? So my focus, I think, is on the relaunch, but what are your concerns? I want to hear. I'd like you to email me what your concerns are. And then I'm going to start asking for this because in May, because I've heard enough about this, I'm hesitant to do this because it seems like when this happens, then it people think it's a negative. But I've had so many people say, "Will you start a newsletter? You know, some kind, just some kind of weekly newsletter." And I would love to do that. And so if you'll just email us that you want to be on our newsletter, and the newsletter, you know, you can opt out of it whenever you want. It's an unsubscribe, but it'll just be, I don't know, kind of a recap. I don't have any big ideas for it. I'm not planning on selling anything for it. I might tell you where I'm going to be. I might tell you about my book. I might tell you about, you know, a video that I already put together. But if you want to be on the newsletter list, shoot us an email at let's see, what is that? Hey, Shantae? S-A,
Oh, yes,
yeah. Already says yay, so thank you so much for that. But you know, I want to be careful on what's in the newsletter in the sense of that it's informative. And the newsletter I do for my clients is typically you read it in a minute, maybe 2 minutes. You know, it's kind of what's the subject that's really going on in the. So if you'd like to be on the newsletter list, send us an email, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. We'll put it on there. And then if you would do me a favor, if you're sending the email, just one word, one sentence. You know, maybe use it as, you know what, I didn't get to go to therapy this week, JJ, I'm going to really tell you what my concerns are. Maybe just unload in that video. I mean, in that email. What are your concerns in the next 30 days? What are they in the next month? What's it tomorrow? So talking about the reality show a little bit here, I'm quite excited based on some videos that we got. And what I really appreciate from the small group of people that sent the videos is how much time and effort they clearly put into it, or just the thought of it. And I appreciated that they kind of jumped up and down to make sure that we saw the video. Because what I'm really looking for is what I'm looking for in a client. And here's the thing, let me just reiterate. Those that I'm going to work with on what we're calling the reality show, the purpose behind it is, in essence, to show every other business owner you're not alone. Your concerns are not really that unique. They're maybe unique to your industry, unique to your segment, unique to your personal life, but the overall concerns, right, are similar. But then every business is dealing with numbers, okay? That's actually the business part. So what I really appreciated is that there's a group that have really shown they're interested in this, that I know that we've had some, they're like, hey, I'd really appreciate this, I value it, it'd be great, you could really help me. But the ones that are doing what I'm asking, because I did ask for there to be a little bit of above and beyond. For the wonderful people that applied and all they sent me was a great email, or they only sent the application only. I was really looking for the video. I really appreciate that, but that's just more, can you just answer some questions for me? It'd be great if you came out, but I'm just kind of looking for some help. But the ones that are putting that effort out, and it touched my heart. And I was up till 3 a.m. last night. I was in bed rewatching these videos. And Amanda had already gone to sleep. She was tired. She's still tired. But I really, really appreciated those that we have yeah, so right now we started looking at airfare, where we're going. One of the places that we're going, maybe two, we won't need airfare. So it's a minor bonus, just because we're not making any money off of it and we're not charging for this. We don't want to. That's not the purpose of it. But we're going to be going to the three corners, actually the four corners of the United States. So right now we are a little hesitant to actually pull the trigger on getting some airfare, but it's pretty dang cheap right now, so it might be worth it. So we plan to be booking some air. I started a page on my website that's called The Tour, and Amanda's still helping me. We're going to come up with the name of the tour, and we think that it'd be fun to have a t-shirt to go along with it and a book. But the primary purpose of this reality show is for fellow small business owners to know that they're not alone. But then check this out. Here's the bonus purpose behind doing something like this, is that those that work for small business owners, if they happen to watch this, are going to see a real true behind the curtain look without, we're not lifting the sheets up that far for everybody to see. There's going to be a lot of private information that I'm only aware of. We are going to talk enough about their information so that people have an idea of what we're talking about. And we also want to have an idea of some numbers to share so that when we follow up, we kind of have something to quantify, qualify what we've done. But I think it'll be interesting if it happens to take, if we happen to get people that really want to tune into this, that we have employees. And then check this out. Here's the third benefit of this. Here's the third benefit of this. There's a lot of people that are thinking that they want to start a business. They're thinking they want to start a business. And don't get me wrong, this won't at all. If someone wants to start a business and they're an entrepreneur, you really can't show them anything and preclude them from doing it, right? Think of all of you, right? Like, yeah, but I understand that 80% of all restaurants are out within, 2 years, but not mine. I've got the plan, right? So if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you're going through the wall and no one's going to tell you different. But it wouldn't be to deter anybody, but we're going to have some consistent segments with each business that we're talking about, where we're going to ask the same question to each of these business owners. Okay, one of them being, what would you tell yourself, okay, if you could go back 45 days before you open? What would you tell yourself? What would you tell somebody that's getting ready to start a new business? Pick any business. So what would be that one thing you would tell someone who's getting ready to open a new business? So it's going to be that kind of stuff. Plus, we're going to be able to meet these individuals. We'll probably somehow minorly just know that their family, I don't mean like their kids are on the program, so to speak, but we're going to see the human side of this. And Amanda and I are committed to pack up our bags, wear a mask, get on an airplane in some cases, and in some cases still driving, and getting in and sifting through a business's everything. And while I am a CPA, I've worked with a lot of businesses. I don't know everything. I don't know every industry in and out, but that makes a good complementary team in this situation, because I was emailing someone last night and I said, do not hire someone more experienced than you, because they're not. It's not even possible, okay? So typically a small business thinks, well, if I want to grow my business, then I got to bring in somebody that is come from the bigger industry. Total disaster. Now, I'll talk further about how that would work when we're working with that business. The reason it's a disaster is that they're going to think they know your business, but you're the only one that still knows your business, okay? Now, if you're on, third and fourth and you have your fifth location, okay, then it might make sense to bring somebody on that's been there, done that, and takes you to 10, 20, 30. But if you're one, maybe still two, disaster upon all disasters, worst decision every business owner has said they've ever made was bringing in somebody that they thought would know more about their business than they did. Not even possible. So the reason I say that is that when JJ the CPA shows up, when JJ the CPA is in front of a customer, a client, okay, you know your business better than me. Now there's a common theme, baseline to all businesses. So I think we're just looking at some major benefits. And then not to mention, hopefully I'm helping the business that we're at. If anything, maybe just being a cheerleader, maybe just giving them some ideas. They may decide, you know what, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. Either it's not going to work for us or my personality, or it sounds like too much work. But, hey, thanks for coming, right? Hopefully, though, I'm able to provide some value. As a side benefit with Amanda coming, being a social media expert, she's going to be able to work with each, business and just give some ideas, not to take it over. Because the thing to know here is that I'm not coming here to take over your business. I'm not coming here to manage it. I'm not coming here to invest in it. I'm not here to loan to it. I'm not going to be the CPA for it, okay? The benefit also of me coming in is to help the team that you currently have work together better, right? So then everybody that's working with that business is seeing me as a non-threat, because I'm not here to get paid. I'm not here to stay. I'm not taking over anybody's job. So 45-degree angle in, and then we're out, and then we'll follow up. But I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think there's anything out there like it. And I think the fact that we're not going to try and do this in one episode. You watch a lot of the shows, Shark Tank, and they're in and out in 10 minutes. The Profit, it's one show for 1 hour. Now, of course, that makes sense based on who these people are. But the way that Amanda and I are going to do it is you're just going to follow us through the story as it's progressing, right? So as we get rolling, we're going to be dealing with maybe all 3 or maybe 4 of these companies at the same time. So you're going to see it progress. And we'll come up with a way to maybe in the thumbnail that you'll know that this is the story for this business, this is the story for this business, this is the story for this business. But you're going to be able to see it unwind. And I bet you there's already going to be tears, you know, and in terms of just some relief. And here's something that I heard last night, and then we'll move on. One of the things that I heard last night that just struck me like boom. And I'll tell you what, when I was watching this one video, like I'm laying in bed, I'm surprised that Amanda didn't wake up, because I mean, I'm just doing this with my hands. I'm like, yep. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. You know, of course, I'm doing it in bed, so it's not noisy. But let's go, you know. And I'm like, yep, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Let's go. Anyways, getting excited. And then it was so awesome to see people just sharing so authentically and transparently about their business. And the reason I love that is that I deal with that with my clients, but I've been working with them for 20 years, so this is just going to be great. And that's what I think what we're going to find is helpful here. But what I heard was, I'm not fueled by money. Okay, it's not what fuels me. But what I heard from that business owner, like intertwined through that sentence, was, but money's draining me. It's draining all my energy. It's sucking the joy out of doing what I do. It's a weight that I have to carry. So what I want to do with business owners, because it's not even possible for a business owner to say, I'm not good with numbers. BS. If you've been in business for more than 2 years, you're clearly good with numbers. You just enjoy saying it. But what I want to do, and what I've done successfully with my clients over the years, is that numbers are numbers. They should be weightless. They should be no weight. And I'll tell you who is a better business owner typically is a woman, right? Amanda is a better businesswoman than I am.
Oh, JJ.
Well, and here's why. Here's why. She can get to weightless numbers quicker than me. You know, I see numbers and I'm like, well, but they work so hard. Well, you know, I mean, like, but they're related to this person. And, well, I don't know. You know, and Amanda, because her numbers are weightless with JJ the CPA, she doesn't all, you know, your business, sometimes the numbers aren't weightless.
Right.
Right? Especially when you have changes. But women seem to somehow get to a weightless approach, like they just see them for what they are, which is just numbers. So it's not, yeah, but this employee, you know, they're trying, you know, like, well, then we can't afford the employee. They're going to have to go. We'll find them something else to do. Right?
We're the finding you people.
Say it again.
We're the finding you. It's an inside joke between JJ and I, but we're just a little bit more detailed, and we can just make harder decisions that need to be made that are emotionless.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, like, I'm just going to spit it out there. Now, part of it may be because I'm from Oklahoma. Well, I'm from California to Seattle to Dallas to Oklahoma. But wouldn't it be a stereotype that, you know, well, women are more emotional, right? Just across the board, right? I mean, I understand there's probably plenty of circumstances that doesn't play, but if you were just to say the majority would say women are more emotional. BS. Men are more emotional. Now, we may not be emotional by crying. We may not be emotional by, you know, laughing hysterically or showing our emotion or wearing it on our shoulder, but we're way more emotional in the sense of we make decisions with emotion. And so if I can help, especially if you have a business where you have a man and a woman, if I'm able to help the decisions, the numbers be weightless, and now both are on the same wavelength because we're removing emotion from numbers and we're just looking at numbers that are black and white. All right, so hey, listen, we've got, let's see, we've got our hardcore people on with us today, 203, 61 thumbs up. Thank you so much for being on with us today. We'd love it if you would subscribe. I will tell you this right now, I just got off a webinar, and I'm gonna just use it to plug my book, if you don't mind. It's on Amazon. And thank you for those that have already bought it. I really, really appreciate it. Amanda has her book as well, because I can't plug mine without plugging hers, be a potato. I've put it to the lowest. These are both the lowest possible that Amazon will let us sell it for. But the reason I'm telling you this, so I want you to take note, okay? Because I'm gonna have a video coming out, we're talking about this, but you're gonna hear it first. This is where you need to take note. Thank you, we already got up to 73 likes. I need you to take note of this. Like big time take note. If you're asking questions in the chat, that's awesome and I appreciate it, but hear this one. Hear it. Okay? Hear it. Banks are gonna stop loaning money in about a week. Okay? Banks are gonna stop letting you pull money off your line of credit in general in about a week. Banks are gonna start pulling money from your account to pay off lines of credit that you didn't think you had to pay in about a week. Okay, maybe 2. Just talk to a national specialist, okay, in the mortgage banking behind the scenes like you wouldn't believe. And then, by the way, a near genius, okay, near genius. Okay, he has patents. That he's behind the scenes in the banking and mortgage business. He has patents on what he does. Like what? Okay, listen, he's saying it. I've said it in this book. Now, this isn't about coronavirus. This isn't about a crisis. It's just saying in general, okay? Businesses don't get money from banks when they're not doing well. Businesses don't get money from banks when they have no money in the bank. If a bank thinks they're not gonna get repaid, it's either you or them, and who do you think's gonna win? And this doesn't even mean that your bank's a big bad wolf. That's their job. Their job is to get the money back that they loaned you. There's no fairness about it or unfairness about it. It's their money that they gave you, they can pull it back. So I've talked about it in here, and then I've gone back to it. Okay, last week I did 3 videos on it. I didn't get a lot of views on it, which that's okay. But I went back to it, and so I want you to go to my website, jjthecpahelp.com. I've got a page called Guide. It's called a survival guide. You give me no email, there's no funnel, there's no free gift if you click on it. But in there is a cash flow analysis you need to figure out right now, today. Do you need to pull money from your line of credit within the next 3 to 4 weeks? Because if the answer is yes, you need to pull it now. Right freaking now. Your bank doesn't care what the reasons are. If you have to give them a reason, you say, because I'm making payroll, because I have overhead expenses, right? It's true, okay? You better get it out. And this specialist, he went so far as to say, get a bank account open at another bank right now, tomorrow, ASAP, in your business name. Pull the money from your line of credit and get it in the other bank. Because if you are in a position where you're having financial issues, which isn't that everybody? The banks in every agreement, and this is not the bank being unfair. This is not the bank being SOBs at all. At all. The bank's primary goal is to get repaid. I talk about it in the book. They should. They gave you money. They need to get it back, period. Right? Wouldn't you feel the same if you gave money to somebody, right? Besides maybe a relative? But the reason for that is that what this expert was indicating is that most agreements indicate that they can pull money from your account if you are in default. If you appear to be in default, I'm not sure about that, so to speak. But if you have money sitting in that bank and you have loans sitting there, especially if it's a line of credit, and I've had it happen to clients, they're just like, hey, you got 150,000 on your line, you got, 75 sitting in the bank, So we're gonna go ahead and take 50 out of your bank and pay off that line of credit. And by the way, we're gonna reduce down your line of credit to only 100 grand. Did you follow that math? The math was you have 150,000 borrowed on your line of credit. You have 75 grand in the bank. They pull 50 grand of your account balance, which they have every right to do, and pay your line of credit down by 50K, okay? And then the arrogant business owner who doesn't want to hear the next sentence, okay, totally loses out, because what the bank does next is reduce down your line of credit to 100. So it's not, oh, that's fine if they pull money and then I have available credit. You're not hearing the next sentence. That's the bank's job, okay? It's the underwriter's job. And by the way, these banks are regulated, right? State and federal, FDIC, SBA, you name it, okay? So guess what? It's not even the bank trying to be a big bad wolf. Those bankers are probably losing sleep and can't eat breakfast in the morning and feel terrible. But they're gonna have to do it. So I'm telling you right now, if you have money available on your line of credit, you should consider borrowing it. You might have a little bit of interest. Don't spend it, but pull it. If you are in dire straits, you might consider protecting that cash and putting it in another bank. Okay? If that sounds shady to you, then don't do it, okay? But it's you or the bank will win, and they should. Absolutely should, because they gave you money that you said you were gonna pay back. If your circumstances change, okay? Line of credit is not credit cards, correct? Yes, Sarah, but I'll tell you this, on your credit cards, don't count on them. Do not count on them. If you roll back, gosh darn, I was talking about it with this expert. I don't know. Let's just say it was 15 years ago. You roll back 15 years ago. It was probably 10 years ago. American Express, everybody's line of credit went to here, right? Everybody's credit went to there. Okay? You used to have 100, now you have 25. Like across the board. Even I had American Express say, oh. Or American Express comes out and says, hey, by the way, we're not gonna carry a balance anymore, so anything you charge after this date, you gotta pay us within 30 days, period, the end. And that's okay. I mean, the American Express, it's not their job really to carry your debt, right? They're lending you money and you're supposed to pay them back. Other credit cards, we've reevaluated your risk and we have decided to lower your limit. So don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna tell you to go charge a bunch of crap on your credit card, okay? I'm not. But I'm telling you, this is what I hear from business owners, and there'll be time to get to the emails. Should have just saved it for the video that I'm gonna do. Amanda's nodding yes. I just think it's too important.
It is important.
It is very important.
And everyone is loving it.
Yeah.
And you're getting a good response.
Okay, well, good. But the thing is that here's what I hear from business owners is they're like, oh, you know what? I like to use my points on the credit card. I agree. Done. Love it. Perfect. But then the next sentence is, so I don't need to use my line of credit. I use my credit cards, and therefore I don't need to use my line of credit. Why do I use my credit cards? Well, I pay it off every month, and I get points. Awesome. Do you need points right now and your business is closed? Is that really the primary goal? No. Primary goal is to have cash when you relaunch, to have cash 4 weeks after you relaunch. If you're using your credit cards and you have a line of credit, switch what you're doing, because lines of credit usually will lower or be reduced first before the credit cards are reduced. But what you don't want to have happen is both things go down, okay? Now, there's a lot of times a bank just goes, you know what? Hey, whatever you have on your line of credit, just FYI, we're not gonna be able to extend you anymore, okay? You owe us 125, you had 150 total, you have 25,000 available. Hey, sorry, I mean, we get it. You're upset with us, but we're not gonna lend you that other 25. You owe us the 125, we're not gonna touch your bank account, and now you're going to the credit cards. Well, if that happens, credit cards are going next. All right. I'll tell you what, this, so many of our businesses we run on credit, and I don't even mean like we run on credit that we're building up, but we use our credit like this, which is okay. Okay? I mean, we're reusing it and reusing it. So we got to get paid back and sell it to pay it off to be able to buy, right? Right? It's like that commercial in the 80s, right? The guys walk, I mean, I'm aging myself, but if y'all remember in the 80s, cocaine was a real problem back then. And they show the stockbroker and he's in this small room and he's like walking in circles. And he says, I have to work longer so I can make more money, so I can buy more cocaine. I have to work longer to make more money so that I can buy cocaine. Your business is your cocaine. That's a terrible analogy. But maybe you call it crack, maybe you call it whatever. I don't mean to make light of anybody that's had issues with that, because I've had family members that have had issues with that. So I'm not making light of that. All I'm saying is get out of the rat race of I gotta make money, because that's typically what makes a business fail. It wasn't because the customers stopped coming in. It wasn't because you didn't continue to be providing a good product or service. It's that you hit a spot and you can't pay off the debt that has become the hamster wheel for you. And that's part of the numbers. I've got a ton of that in this book here, How to Get With the Bank. We'll see ya. How to get with the bank, when to get with them, what they want, how to not whine and snivel and complain. Gives you an inside look. This is a book that actually tells you what's going through the banker's head. This is a defender of the bank, a defender of them, because you want to use them as a tool, so know how it is that Clay needs a video. Living with JJ behind the scenes. All right.
They're all saying there needs to be a Wall Street 3 called JJ Never Sleeps.
JJ never sleeps. I love it. I'll tell you this, we'll have to find it. My son Cooper, when he...
On YouTube.
Well, when he was in second grade, he wrote a script to Wall Street 3. And it was called, Is Greed Still Good?
Oh.
And he had a part for me, his sister, and his mom, okay? And when we were done reading the script, he looked at his sister and he said, listen, let's do that again. This is second grader. He's like, listen, Chloe, let's do that again. But I didn't really, it didn't feel like you were into it. Like, I need you to tell us that you're really Darian.
That's adorable.
Isn't that awesome? Wish I had that on film. I have the script. We need to find it. All right. Hey, let's get to the emails. Thanks for listening. But hear me when I say all that. You're getting the first look, because I don't think I have time to shoot that video tonight or tomorrow. It needs to get out. It'll be the next major video I'm getting out. So hopefully you're getting ahead of it.
Joe, EIDL for LLCs.
Okay, you're gonna have to probably talk a little louder, because you sound like you're not talking loud to me. So I'll move over a little closer to you, because I like you.
You do?
I do.
Well, I like you too. I said this is from Joe, and he's asking about EIDL for LLCs.
Oh, EIDL for LLCs. So listen, if you have employees, you probably went for PPP. If you don't have employees, then the EIDL is your option. Now, if you're an LLC, the thing to know is that it can be taxed as anything. It's a chameleon. It could be a C Corp, an S Corp, a partnership, disregarded, sole member, or single member, depending on what state you live in. Single member, sole member, LLC. So when you're talking about an LLC, it's more like saying, I'm a human being. Doesn't tell us what country you're from or even what sex you are. Point is that when you say you're an LLC, the one thing I want you to go and find out is, how are you taxed? Okay, because the LLC is your legal setup. You want to know how you're taxed, because it means everything. So if you are going for PPP, you have to have wages. If you're a partnership and you have self-employed income, box 414, you'll include that up at the entity level. But EIDL, I don't believe is still online, because I'm assuming we would have had the alarms going off on that. So
Our next one is Tina Beard, the CPA, who always helps us out in comments. Just would like you to know if you could do a very in-depth video on ERC.
Absolutely, and the reason we wanted to mention that is, look at this, Tina. So here's, I don't know if can you see this in the screen right here? You can't see it. It's at an angle. Okay. Well, just look. These are my photos. Okay, and I'm going to scroll up. Okay, which tells you that I have already made. You can't see it. I've already made the thumbnail for it. Okay. Okay.
There.
What do we know? ERC. I made that thumbnail on Sunday, Tina, because I knew you were going to ask about it, and I'm waiting to get through PPP. I'm hoping maybe in the next round of SBA guidelines, maybe in the next week, we'll know a little bit more from the IRS. I put out a bunch of emails. I'm sorry. I put out a bunch of videos about ERC, and then when the IRS came out with their direction, in visiting with Tom and a few others, I took them down because it was saying absolute, go get your ERC. When we got the final, or not final, when we got some direction from the IRS, they gave me the impression that maybe we don't get ERC and PPP. So I'm with you, Tina. I'll send you a link when I put it together.
This is from David, and he has questions about PPP for seasonal and the guidance change that happened with that.
Yeah, so and you sent a wonderful email. It was provided a lot of detail. I appreciate that. But what I want you to do is, I want you to go to jjthecpahelp.com. I want you to go to the forgiveness page, because this is actually where I have them all. You're going to scroll to the bottom, and you're going to find SBA guidance, right? And I've got these links to the SBA guidance. And let me tell you this right now: the SBA puts out fabulous guidance and FAQs. So go in there, because in the one I'm pretty sure it's the one on April 14th. I know that it is. The one on April 14th goes through a beautiful calculation for a seasonal employer. So I want you to check that out. And then the reason I want you to check it out is that if you're having issues with the bank, send that to them so that they can help you figure that out, because it is not a straightforward calculation. All right, listen, maybe we can get up to 100 likes. Let's see, maybe we can get up to 100 likes.
Excuse me, this one just came through and is from Melissa, and she's a CPA as well.
Oh, perfect.
And she just wanted to reach out to you. She's a CPA in Northern
Thank
Virginia.
you. Perfect.
Has had her own practice for 24 years.
Oh, wow.
With her two sisters working with her.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
So she's really appreciates you. As a single shareholder, she doesn't have someone to bounce ideas off and interpretations, so listening to your videos and confirming what I interpret helps. But she wanted to let you know that her husband is a COO at a credit union, and it says the SBA is restricting the number of applications a bank can submit per hour. That they spoke with the banker today, and he confirms this. They can only submit 330 applications per hour.
Wow.
So this will limit the number of clients. The big banks will be able to help, at least for now. So.
Gotcha. Well, you know what I like about that is that, thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. Mark that with the, hey, mark it with the.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That is really good information to know.
Yeah, it is.
Because in some ways, I'm hoping that puts it on equal footing. I was talking with somebody on Sunday about the PPP, and they were wondering if, because they said, oh, well, you're number 28 in line. And so he inquired, and he's like, well, at the bank, because you have a ton of branches. And they said, no, you're number 28 in line from our branch. So he didn't really know what to make of that, but I don't know. So that's really good to know. The credit unions, of course, depending on the size, but I would assume most credit unions would fall on the smaller side, but it's defined in the amended Secures Act that they got allocated $30 billion. The small banks got allocated $30 billion. But you know what I love about that, Amanda, is that it kind of puts everybody on equal footing, because if everybody has the same limitations in the number, then you might have a bank and it's like they got double the number of employees.
Yeah. Tamer wants to know about employee retention credit. Can he use employee retention credit from March 13th till the day that I get proof?
So we're talking about is there a PPP? No discussion on PPP.
I applied for it. He applied for it but didn't get it approved.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry about that. So absolutely jump on it. Go to my playlist that is called credits. I have also a page on my website that says tax credits. But here's what you want to do real quick is go to IRS, and this is in the videos, but you're going to get the form 7200. You're going to submit it yourself. You don't actually want to submit it through the bank. I'm sorry, you don't want to submit it through your payroll company for first quarter, okay? But you're going to fill out that 7200. It is easy. What did you pay your employees if you're 100 or less? March 13th through March 31st, take half of it. There are some limitations, so I'm going to let you watch the video. But most are not reaching the limitations from March 13th to 31st. What'd you pay employees? Take it times 50%. That goes on line 1. Fill out the other information. You fax it in. They mail you a check. I don't know how quick, but get on it, okay? Now, for some reason, if you applied, depending on when this email is, then if you're getting PPP, then right now you should expect there's going to be a recapture, which just means we need the IRS to tell us, is there a recapture? Sounds like there will be according to the law, but how is the recapture? Do you have to pay it back? Is it a reduction of your loan forgiveness? When do you have to pay it back? So from the perspective then of that, okay, on 17200, okay, you're going to do first quarter. Then you can do another 7200 for second quarter. My advice is let one be in the hopper at a time. So hand in the one for first quarter when you get your check, then hand in one so far of the amount of payroll that you've had, I guess at this point in April. And then you might hit some limitations because it's $10,000 max per employee, which is a $5,000 tax credit. It's a refundable credit, and then you can get an advance on it. So jump on it. Great question.
This one, this is from Justin, and I'm just gonna read it because I don't really understand it. So, big fan here, learning so much just from listening. My wife and I got screwed by a con artist contractor and ended up X amount upside down. We have now built a new home and added the negative equity to our note. Just wondering if we can claim anything on our taxes. I know you're probably busy, but fingers crossed.
So on that aspect of it, I know that those are terrible circumstances. I know that it leads to, there was a loss there. Casualty and theft losses don't really yield much if it's related to the business, right? Mm-hmm. If it's related to the business, in essence, what you spent is what you're going to be able to write off. And in essence, whatever you spent the money on, whatever that individual said that they were doing for you, that's how you want to write it off. Believe it or not, if you, in essence, had money stolen from you, okay, like literally stolen. So I'm just saying, like, you show up the next day and it's gone, right? Well, there is no expense there, okay? And there can be a limitation then to how much you can write off. A limitation based on your income. It can be considered capital. It's not a straightforward answer at all, okay? It's not a straightforward solution. But what I'd tell you, if it's in your business and that person, you hired them to do repairs, you hired them whatever, well, that's what you hired them to do. That's how you should write it off, okay? So that's going to give you the best write-off. But you will not be able to write off anything more than your literal out-of-pocket losses. So even if you lost an opportunity, you lost $1 million opportunity. Well, if it was only due to you spending $10K, your max write-off on that is $10K. Now, if that was individually, I think you'd be pretty well out of luck for any kind of write-off. The fact that you took the negative equity and you put it into your house, so to speak, under the new tax laws, you wouldn't actually be able to write off the interest portion of that loan because under the new tax law, only the amount of what you borrowed that went straight up to that house is the amount that you're able to deduct for anything after December 15th, 2017. So sorry that happened, and at least you're going to be able to write off what it is, I would assume, that you spent, which that's not usually a consolation, but depending on your tax bracket, it maybe lessens the blow.
This one is from Princess Beasley, and basically she's asking you if you know what an NCINO is, because that is what she's been told by her bank that her application
lacks. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, I see. It might be that it's a typo, so let me.
She put it in there several times, so it can't be.
It could be. So let me, what's the next question? I'm going to look something up here real quick.
Adriana's wants to know what happens if you receive your PPP loan and then subsequently start going back to work as a sole proprietor.
Okay, PPP, nothing, because the PPP is based on your net schedule C, line 31. You take that times, or divided by 52 times 8, that's your automatic forgiveness. And then same thing, for the employees, and doesn't matter if you're open or closed, the employer's getting that money, it's supposed to go to the employees. Doesn't matter if they're open or closed. I've heard comments and it's like, well, I got this PPP money, but I'm not gonna pay these employees to sit on the couch. Well, you didn't get the PPP money to make any decisions in the first 8 weeks. It's supposed to go to your employees. Now, I understand we have some issues related to that, but as it relates to the self-employed, it's putting you in that same position, which is you have had a time period you didn't earn what you could. So nothing. It's actually the easiest of all the PPP forgiveness because it's line 31 divided by 52 times 8. All right, hey, thanks for the great question.
Our next one is from Tax Slayer.
All right, Tax Slayer, bada boom.
Watching JJ on YouTube live as we speak. He's just sent this in a little bit ago.
Love it.
He said, no banks are paying me the 1% PPP agent fees. Fifth Third said they had never heard of this and to invoice the client. Statute says we cannot invoice the client. What says JJ?
Oh yeah, the law is massively clear in 1102. It addresses it. It indicates that the professions, which includes tax professionals, accountants, CPAs, that the bank is to pay them, period. It doesn't come from the client. Actually, it'd be illegal. And Fifth Third's just a straight up liar, okay? And I'd tell anybody to their face that told you that, you're a liar, because how does a bank that big not know what the law says, period, the end? You're a straight up liar. You're just a liar, okay? I'm just gonna call it like I see it. So what I'm saying is you go into 1106, you said it, boom, it's right there. It comes from the bank. Now, here's the deal. You would have needed to make arrangements with them probably up front in advance. They obviously can make a decision to say, well, we're not doing that, and or, well, they're not gonna work with the client. I had already sent everybody to the banks, and Amanda came in and she was like, hey, did you know? She's like, surely you know this. And she's like, did you know that you could get 1%? And I was like, oh gosh, I didn't, And don't get me wrong, it doesn't cost the client anything. I mean, that means 4% went to the bank, 1% went to the person referring that's a banker, lawyer, and a CPA. There's some other professions that qualify, maybe financial advisors, I don't know. Anyways, I said, well, I mean, wow, that's quite something. And I did a quick add up to go, wow, that would have really been a nice fee, because it wouldn't have cost the client, it would have cost them nothing. But these banks they're great friends of mine. I've known them forever, and I would rather them just make the money. They're going to earn it on the backside. I think a lot of banks maybe hadn't really thought through how much time and effort there's going to be on the backside. But if you had anything up front, I'd stay after it and see what they will pay out. All right, let's see.
And just a reminder, we have 303 people on, or 300 now. So if you guys could give us a thumbs up, that would be great. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel if this is your first time here. Got some questions on forgiveness, and we're really not covering that topic. There are some videos on JJ's YouTube channel. Please go utilize that, and you will find the answers that you need. So.
Yeah, so on the forgiveness, also on my website, jjthecpahelp.com. I know that that when you come with questions, most of the time you have a scenario, you're concerned. But what I want you to know is this. At the end of the day, even if you got $1 of that you don't have to pay back, you got $1, right? The goal isn't the forgiveness, meaning you didn't do anything wrong if you don't spend all the money. So the common question is, well, should I give someone a raise? Should I pay myself more? Because I want to make sure I get full forgiveness. And you go, well, that isn't the goal of this at all. The goal of it was, what do you need? Spend it on that. What have you been spending it on? Spend it on that. Grandpa gets the change, okay? And you're going to be sitting in front of a bank examiner. And so my whole thing is this, and I'm just going to call him my good friend at this point because he's kind of been like a guardian angel, especially on the ERC. But at the end of the day, I just predict everyone is going to have a percentage not forgiven, even if you did it perfect, even if you were like 75% this and 25% this. Okay, the only way that doesn't happen is your payroll hasn't changed in the last 2 years. The employees didn't change. You paid the exact same. You did everything the same. Now you got a fighting chance for it. Okay. If you have any of this, okay, there's going to be a little bit of it unforgiven. So what? I mean, if you got 100 grand and 11 of it's not forgiven, I'm going to give you a swift kick in the rear if I hear you complaining that I didn't get 11 grand forgiven. You got $89,000 free. What are we doing here? Focusing in on the side that didn't get forgiven? Let me just tell you something real quick. There's plenty of businesses that didn't get a dime. So I want you to find one of them and then go bitch and complain to them and tell them how terrible it is, that it's not fair. You got your 100 grand, you got to use 89 of it that you don't have to pay back, which is unbelievable, never happened in the history of history in the United States of America. But you're pissed off that you spent the 100, not fair, your employees did this, you should have gotten a raise, someone got a bonus, rent didn't change, blah, 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 and you spent the full 100, but you got to pay 11 back, okay? I want you, if you're going to complain about it, go find the person that didn't get it. Get on Facebook and say, hey, is there anybody out there that didn't get PPP money? Because you're going to get like ants to something that's sticky and sweet. Going to tell you, I didn't get it, I didn't get it, I didn't get it. Then you just say, hey, real quick, I just want to let you know that I'm pissed as hell that I got 11 grand of this not forgiven, okay? So go watch my videos. As you can tell, I get fired up by it. Go to my forgiveness page. I've given you all the information I'm going to give. You need to go talk to your bank because the bank is the only one that's going to answer the questions. And you know what the banks are typically saying right now? I don't know. I mean, we need SBA guidance. I don't know. I don't know. Use it on payroll, rent, and utilities. I don't know. I don't know. Okay? Now, they may not all say it like that. They may be like, well, I mean, we're just not sure. They may be very distinguished and like, well, I'm not really sure. You're going to have to check back with us. Use it on payroll, rent, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm not getting into that game. And I don't even mean, and I know that there's a number of well-intentioned individuals, but here's where I'm like, stop. Like, I can't stand it anymore. Here's all my circumstances. If I do this, will it lead to forgiveness? I don't want to do anything wrong. If you just spend it on what you need, it's not possible to do it wrong. It's not possible. And if you go, yeah, but I spent the 100 grand, I must have done it wrong because I owe 11. Let's wake up for a minute. Let's wake up for just 1 minute. And just hear what you said. I want you to say it and then go around to the other side of the table and hear what you just said. I must have done it wrong because I got 100 grand and I had to pay back 11 of it. What? So this is the other reason I don't want to answer questions about it, because I almost can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's this simple, and Tom put it in his article in Forbes magazine. What are your expenses? Spend it on that. Well, I don't want to do it wrong. How are you doing it wrong if you spend it on rent, utilities, the insurance, the employee match? No, I wasn't snapping at you. You see what I'm saying? Like, how are you doing it wrong? So why is there such this concern? They're saying, go to the movies, here's 20 bucks, go to the movies. Right? I mean, if you've been on before, I won't go on and on about it, but just think of it this way. Go back and you're 12 years old, grandma, grandpa, auntie, cousin, stepdad, foster parent gave you 20 bucks and said, hey, go to the movie, have a great time, here's 20 bucks, bring me back the change. And you arrive there at 3 o'clock. And back in my day, there was a matinee price. I don't even know if they still have such a thing. Are you going to walk up and get your movie tickets and they go, oh, well, the matinee price is this. And you're like, whoa, 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 I don't want to do it wrong. Whoa, you're not going to give me a matinee price. I'm going to tell you that right now. I want to pay full price, because I am not going to get home and then have to tell this person that gave me 20 bucks, I didn't spend it all. Why would you do that in a million years? You know, you'd be skipping back to whoever it was that gave you the 20 bucks. Proud. Look at that, I went to the matinee. I got 2-for-1 Slurpees. I got $5 back. You thought you were going to get $1. We get PPP money and we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. How do I spend it? Now, I know that there's the argument of, well, but I'm a good business owner and I need to make sure that I'm using this properly. You know how to use it properly? What are your wages? Freaking use it for wages. Okay? It's not a good business owner to go, do you need some raise over there? Hey, get on over here. I'm going to give you a raise. Well, was that person going to get a raise already? No? Well, what the hell? No business person is going to go give some random employee a raise. Okay? Think of this. How do you explain this to a U.S. Secret Service agent, a U.S. Treasury agent, IRS agent, FDIC agent, SBA agent, bank examiner, all of which who you might be talking to? Yeah, you're right. We didn't open the doors. We couldn't open. We were closed. And I hired my wife. I hired my husband. I had to have them. I had to have them. I had to bring on more employees. I had to pay myself more. I mean, gosh, all the time I spent in the shower, worrying about this. I had to pay myself more. What business does that? None. If it was your money, you would not do that. I wouldn't let you. Hiring your spouse is an idiot, dumb idea. First of all, you just pay payroll tax on it. Boom, you're dumb. If your spouse is working in the business, then yeah, hire them, pay them, whatever. If you have a retirement plan, yeah, get your spouse on there, whatever. Okay? But this whole crap about, well, I could hire my wife, couldn't I? Well, if you didn't have any money in the bank, would you hire your wife? Would you hire your husband? Would you hire your kids? Doors are closed. Kids, get in here. You're on the payroll because I want to make sure I got this all forgiven. So you know how you do it wrong? You make a decision that you wouldn't make otherwise. You wouldn't make otherwise. That's how you, in essence, screw it up. That's how you screw it up. Okay? A good business person isn't, I got 100K, I'm going to make sure I don't have to pay it back. A good business person goes, oh my gosh, I got 100K. Hey, what's going on over here? We have it for this. Let's use it for that. I got what I needed. Oh, I didn't use 11 of it. Hey, thank you for the $89,000 free. And here's 11 back. The same way as you would go back and say, hey, Auntie, thank you so much for the $20. I had a great time. Here's the change. All right. That question on the code, it's an NAICS code. You might reply, NAICS. So Google it and you'll find a list of codes. And the only reason I wanted to look this up though was I know that it was on I thought it was on the old application, but maybe I'm just literally blind, but I do not see it anywhere on this latest application, unless they've come out with an application since the one I've got. But I do not see where you put in the code. You used to, their original one, DBA, EIN, contact, legal name, business address, number of employees, monthly, EIDL, what are you going to use it for? Check the box. Who's the owners? A bunch of check the box, initial. We heard of somebody yesterday that their bank popped them out of line because they didn't initial 5 and 6, so make sure you initial it. I don't see anything. But nonetheless, if your bank says they need it, then by golly, get it. It's NAICS, and it's just this national code to, in essence, let them know what kind of business you are. So just start fishing through it. Don't overthink it. Once you hit the area, you're going to see. So if you're a fisher person, you have a fishing business, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff related to wildlife and fishing and all. If you're a consultant, you're going to find all of a sudden a whole bunch talking about consulting and bankers, or if you're, a lawyer or an attorney, or, well, lawyer and attorney are the same. What else? All right, thank you for that. And what can I say?
This one's from David, and I don't know if you just want to scroll this and see which ones of these that you would like to answer real quick.
All right.
6 questions.
Okay.
Inside of it, so.
All right, we got David L. If you have a minute for a quick reply.
Oh, Natalie, that's so awesome. She said, all teared up just now reading the thank you Amanda wrote in her potato book. I appreciate that, Natalie.
Yay.
She's going to get your book too, Jay.
Yay. Well, thank you. Let's see. How do you know if you're going to get the 7,200 credit, and is it actually dispersed, or is it only a credit? If you have wages that were paid between March 13th and 31st and you didn't get PPP, you get the credit on the form 7,200, and it is dispersed. And it's in advance. Is the rate of pay for sick leave for 7,200 money 100% of their regular pay? So what I want you to do, I'm telling you right now, David, my answers are going to be worthless compared to the hours I spent. Go to my website, and hopefully David's on, and hopefully he'll go back and listen, because if you go to my website and you go to tax credits, okay, I have a beautiful, if I can say myself, beautiful, mwah, okay, mwah, spreadsheet for you that shows you all 3 credits, how to track them. I got color coded, how to make sure you're following it through. So that's what I want you to do, David, on that, is go to my website, check that out. The federal employment, 600, yes, it is weekly, yes. And what if one of your employees is a dreamer? Are they eligible for federal and state unemployment benefits? Not sure what a dreamer is, but if you can't pay them and you didn't get PPP, the answer is yes. If you got PPP, I guess they technically can, but they should stay on. And then, do employees file for federal and state unemployment at the same local EDD office? On that one, you just have to check with your state. Most of the states, I think, are combining it, but in Oklahoma, it seems that you do go to the same organization, but it is 2 logins. It is 2 portals. One is for the state, one is for the federal, so you're gonna need to look at the state. And then, is there a specific version of work share benefits for employees spelled out in the federal government for COVID that directs the state EDD office aside from the PPP loan? On that one, I appreciate the question. I wouldn't know. I'm actually I'm a tax guy. And so I don't know on that one. So anyways, but hey, thanks for listening. I really appreciate that. And, but I'm telling you, David, really go check that out. I've got a spreadsheet on there. I think you're going to really dig it. All right. What's next?
That's it. That's all I got.
Oh, okay.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Let me look. It seemed like there was one. Let's see. I talked about Joshua's. And let's see. Jason helped us with our time zone. I was going to point out last night, I saw something and it said time zone for the show, the live show. And I've been putting CST, Central Standard Time. put a gun to my head, that's what time zone I'm in, right? Well, and he sent a screenshot of our YouTube, and it said, you know, it was a little arrow, and it said, you know, 4 p.m. CST, and I'm like, CST, what else could there be? You know, CST, you know, Central Standard Time, Eastern, you know, Pacific, whatever. So anyways, I Google it. What time look when I emailed him back. What time did I do this? Like, it's one of those, and I'm like ready to go to sleep, and then all of a sudden this email pops in. It's called time zone. But anyways, it turns out, Amanda, we are in the CDT zone. Why didn't you tell me?
Well, some people, I mean, I do it too, and I know other people that do it as well, but some people do list it as CST. It can be listed that way, so.
I read, I Googled, what's the difference between CST, CDT? There is a difference. The CDT is the zones that do the daylight savings time. I don't know if there is one in the central that doesn't, maybe,
Right.
I don't know. So anyways, I appreciate that. We did change it to the CDT, and let's see.
3:09 a.m.
All right, and then they seem to have something really cool, some kind of a calculator. I did sign up for it, and then I was too tired to comprehend it. All right, well, hey, we did get a quick question here. We've been in business for 35 years. This is from Anderson Construction. Thank you for listening. This would be Mississippi. I went to public school. MS is Mississippi, right? MISS.
MISSISSPPI.
There's an I between there. Yeah.
They will-
MISSISSIPPI. PPI.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Small construction company. We are Schedule C filers. Can you tell us what is involved in switching over to the S Corp?
Oh, this is an important question. I have to interrupt you.
Okay.
Nancy H wants to know what SGDMF stands for in my book. You want to tell her?
Oh, you put it in your book?
I love you, S.
Oh, I'll blush. You're not on camera.
Not.
I'm on camera. You're not. Well, you know what? You can, on the last one, people will know what it is. You don't have to say the full word.
So it means I love you. So God beat mother beat much.
Yeah. So SGMFS. So God and mother hugging hush. Yeah. Yeah. That was something we would put in our text to each other. We still do. We still do, and I appreciate that. So we have a construction company, Schedule C filers. Please immediately become an S Corp. Immediately. Okay? And I appreciate the question. I'm mainly concerned about how we handle our vehicles, dump trucks. I got excellent news for you. Do they stay in our personal name, or do the titles need to be transferred to the S Corp? We're approaching retirement age and not sure if it will be worth the hassle at this point. So here's the thing. You can have the best of both worlds if you'd like. You can continue to have your Schedule C that owns your vehicles and dump trucks and whatnot, or you can have the S Corp, changing over the titles. Here's the thing, most likely, is they've already been fully depreciated. I bet you, I hope they've already been fully depreciated. Because if they've been fully depreciated, who cares if they're in the S Corp? Because you're not getting any write-offs. But let me tell you this right now, you're letting the tail wag the dog. And the biggest mistake, I'm just going to be blunt with you, Myra, I'm going to be straight up blunt with you. The reason you're a Schedule C is that you must have told somebody 35 years ago, is it worth the hassle? And I don't want you to vomit, okay? But for the last 35 years, take your net income on Schedule C times 15%, and if you were an S Corp, you never would have paid that over the last 35 years. Take whatever your Schedule C is times 15%. Whatever your net Schedule C is times 15%. What is that over 35 years? Okay? You paid that tax, okay? And you didn't have to. Okay, now I already know with our wonderful CPAs on board, you're like, whoa, 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 you need to pay in Social Security. Yes, you do. So your wages, okay, is what's the catch with an S Corp? And then the next part, when you tell your accountant, well, but is it worth the hassle to do payroll? Here's what a CPA EA tax pro hears. I'm cheap, I don't want to spend any money. I don't mean to offend you, I'm hoping you're laughing, but this is what your accountant hears. I'm a cheap customer, I don't want to spend any money. I don't want any hassles, tell me what's the easiest. What we don't hear sometimes, okay, and when I'm traveling the country, I get good laughs, okay, from my fellow CPAs that I talk to, okay? Sometimes we forget to remind the client, hey, it would be worth the hassle. And yeah, you know what? You are gonna spend more money with me, and you know why? Because I'm gonna save you over 35 years, $1 million, or $500,000, or $250,000, okay? So is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. So whoever you're with, you're gonna go back and you're gonna say, hey, you know what, I changed my mind. I need to be an S Corp. And then when they say, well, it's not worth the hassle, you can say, no. I want you to remove that from your vocabulary and then tell me why it's not worth the hassle. They're like, oh, the IRS, this and that. That ain't a reason. Because with my next book, okay, it's JJ the CPA by the numbers, I'll show you by the numbers. So go check out the video, and it's called No One Should Be a Sole Proprietor. Here's the other thing, okay, for retirement, let me tell you this for retirement. You ready for this? You ready for this? This might even be aggressive, okay? If you don't like to hear aggressive suggestions, then close your ears. Go like this real quick. When you're in retirement and you're taking Social Security, a distribution from an S corporation doesn't F up your Social Security. You hearing me? So you may be getting ready to retire, but what does that actually mean? Are you just shutting the doors, right? You're hanging it up? Is someone going to carry on the business for you? Or are you straight up selling it? Okay, so if you're going to sell in 6 months, then yeah, why be an S Corp? But if you're saying soon to retirement, a couple years from now, 3, 4, you think in retirement you might still make some money, this is the one vehicle, no pun intended, the S Corp, that when you pull distributions, because you're not working in the business, you're just pulling profits, does not affect your Social Security. Boom! Okay, here's the other part. Yes, you're gonna have to pay yourself wages. Okay, yes, you're gonna have a hassle. Big deal. So here's what I would tell you though. Here's my test. Okay, here's my test. You ready? If you've been around 35 years, who knows? Okay, if you're netting less than 20, 30 grand, not worth the hassle. Okay, if you're netting less than 20, 30 grand, not worth the hassle. 40, if you're netting 100 grand, you need to be an S Corp, okay? And you're gonna have wages, and you're gonna have a hassle. And then here's the other thing, you're risking it all. Who's your attorney? Who is your attorney? Who's your attorney? You're the most, liability-driven, stricken industry. There's so much liability. You want everything to be in an S Corp because you've at least done something to separate your business from you, okay? I can tell you after 27 years, I don't want to make you feel bad. Just know this, I'm just, take it as, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked this question. But here's the thing, I can tell you right now, 2 different businesses, they were within retirement, okay? These weren't clients of mine, they were Schedule Cs. Something happened and everything was taken away from them. Everything, because they didn't have themselves separated. So here's what you have to see, there are no hassles, period. Period, there's no hassles here. There's no hassles. Everything you've worked for, you need to separate it out. The other part is, if you want to sell that business, if you have an S Corp, you're giving yourself a better chance to sell it and have capital gains on it. You're selling a sole proprietorship, you're paying probably ordinary income tax, right? So I've given you way too many reasons that there's no way you want to do it, and then you're gonna just faint. Okay? Go ahead, listen to the end of the sentence before you faint. Okay? You file a form 2553, you check a box, you say, yo, I want to be an S Corp effective 1/1/20. Done. Done. How much hassle was that? None. Well, you got to file a separate tax return. So what? It's the same information, the same effort that's going on in Schedule C. It's just now going on an S Corp return. Okay? So you have to do payroll. Okay, you got to pay some, payroll company. So what? $50 a payroll? $100 bucks a month? Whatever. So what? You got to pay yourself some wages? So what? So to all of those, so for Anderson Construction, thank you, okay, for asking that question. Take from this how strongly I feel. For those of you that are involved in your business, actively involved, and you're not an S Corp, I'm just putting it out there. There's really no reason for it that I could see. Someone come and convince me after 27 years that if you are actively involved in your business, why are you not an S Corp? Period. Well, we're a partnership because of these reasons. Okay. You know what those reasons would be? Grandpa's been here forever and is 87 years old, not in the business, and we want to put the assets in the trust, and then we have a 2-year-old that maybe, I don't know, still would we be an S Corp, okay? So partnerships are for inactive, meaning I'm not participating. I own 10 restaurants. I wouldn't know the manager if I was standing next to him. I own that through a partnership. Perfect. Okay, I own real estate, partnership. I'm not actively involved. Own it in a partnership, LLC. Okay, I understand that everybody has their own opinions. I get it, right? We have our own opinions on, well, should it be this or should it be that? But is it actually what should be done in 2020? Maybe a partnership was a beautiful setup in 1989, 1996. I mean, LLCs were not even around in Oklahoma until like 1999. They weren't even around, LLCs. I'm so glad that you were listening. I'm so glad that I listened. I didn't listen to Amanda in the sense she said, hey, that's all the emails, because that was huge. What we need to do is screen record that and put it in its own video.
Okay.
Amanda's ready to be done.
No.
We're ready to wrap up.
No. It's
5:30.
Yeah, we've been.
Do we have anything else?
We have other emails if you want to go through them.
So, if they're emails that came recent,
About within 5-10 minutes ago.
yeah, let me look real quick because we may tackle them tomorrow. I just really, really, really wanted to help out Anderson there. Oh goodness,
Yeah,
I'm so glad they asked.
I looked, so.
Yeah. Let's see. Basically, NAKR, if you got PPP, are you eligible for EIDL? The short answer is yes, and just don't use it for the same expenses. And let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Kung Fu something. Let's see. For self-employed applying for PPP, explain why negative 31 potentially makes you ineligible. It's not potentially. You're straight up you're straight up ineligible because it's line 31 divided by 12 times 2.5. It's just a numbers calculation. Just period the end. That's all it is. No further possibilities for PPP. So what you want to look at is EIDL. Let's see. That might be something for tomorrow. Let's see. Something for tomorrow. Oh, we got, all right. Well, listen, so, let's see. I want to say, probably need to tackle these for tomorrow. All right. Well, listen, I didn't see a ton of emails, which is cool. I'll probably say this, if I don't have like 100 people say they want an email newsletter, what I'll probably do is those that want to be on the newsletter, I'll just put you on my newsletter that I send to clients. There's no reason I send newsletters to clients once a week. There's no reason for it. But I'll at least put you on that list. So Gene, I'll put you on that list. If I don't have 100 people, which is no biggie, you may not want to have a newsletter. May just want to tune in live and watch my videos, which is even better. So Glenda, send an email to jj@jjthecpahelp.com. Brian, I appreciate that. I try and keep my newsletters to where you can read them in a minute, meaning it's just 1 or 2 concepts, and probably, quite frankly, it'll be, here's something quick to think about. Click here to go to the video on it. Here's something to think about. Maybe go to the article with newsletters like that. Here's a good article to describe it, or something from the Journal of Accountancy. I do want to put out there, it is on the, well, you know what? I'll talk about it tomorrow. So we need to roll. Tomorrow at the beginning, I'm going to have an announcement. We were working on it today. I've been talking about it. We're going to have an announcement in the first 10 minutes about something that's going to be really special. It's going to help businesses monetarily. And with Tony is the one that breathed life into this. So we're excited. Tony will be on. I don't know how to get him on screen with us or talking. But anyways, we'll have a little video that we'll release as soon as the live is over tomorrow that talks further about it. And it's a way that you can get involved and maybe help potentially some other businesses as well. So stay tuned for that. And then EIDL, goodness, I hope it comes on. Hopefully it doesn't run out before they go live again. If you've got PPP in the hopper with the bank and you haven't heard anything, you might start eyeing some smaller banks. Maybe go build a relationship with them, as in check out their website. Do they have 1 or 2 branches? They're probably a small one. Call somebody, see if they have a portal, see what information they need to get the PPP. Maybe start giving them some of that information. You don't want to be 2 places at once. Then you don't want to, yeah, I know, I don't understand that card shop around. There's just people gotta hate, what is it? Haters gotta hate. But anyways, at the end of the day, don't be applying 2 places at once. But if you've got a straddle and you can get into a smaller bank, they've got preferential treatment. We learned from a wonderful CPA that all the banks are having some limitations. And so anyways, PPP, okay? But after this week, what are we talking about? So email me as well. What are you concerned about? 1 word, email. If you're gonna email me that you wanna be on the email letter, just, what comes to mind, and what's your next concern, whether it's business or personal, so that we can be addressing some of those things. We can be talking about some of those things. I know that the hot topic will then just be PPP forgiveness over and over and over. But I think I've provided everything I possibly can. I've given worksheets, I've given explanations, I've given you the SBA, I've given you videos. You just got to spend what it is that you have, and you let the chips fall where they may. And at the end of the day, you got some of that money free. You got some of it free. And if you spend it and you're pissed off that you got to pay it back, well, then maybe you shouldn't have spent it. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have spent it. And then if you're still pissed off, then I want you to go find somebody that didn't get PPP money, that applied, and sit down and convince them why they should also be pissed off with you that you didn't get all of your monies forgiven, right? And that sounds silly, so I'm trying to bring some light to it. All right, well, listen, so we are out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm gonna do a pop out here, and is everybody signing off?
You knowing how to do that.
I know, finally I learned, and then you don't have to. So anyways, Alyssa, it's almost time for cocktail and stogie. I love that. Thank you so much. Mira Anderson, love it, love it, love it, love it. Email me. I'm happy to provide a little more guidance on you, because you put up with my theatrics and you still said thank you. So send me another email if you need a little more guidance on that. I won't be able to file anything for you. I can't do stuff for people that are outside Oklahoma, but I'm happy to give a little more guidance for you.
Bye, Jean. Have a good
All right,
night.
bye, Jean. Let's see, card shop,
Bye, coaches.
SBA, person on Friday, 1K landed in my account about Monday, Tuesday. Awesome, I love it. Brian, I hope you get to feeling better. I am getting the feeling that JJ loves S-Corps. Yes. Brian, you would be correct there. Karen, Does the S Corp strategy apply to LLC with regards to FICA chart changes? Yes, because an LLC can be taxed as anything, including an S Corp if you're actively involved with it. And the beauty is you don't need a new tax ID number. You don't go get a new bank account. If you already have payroll, you keep doing it. Nothing changes. You just now have an S Corp return to file. So if you already have an EIN and assets in that EIN, okay, you're just now an S Corp. So I know that there was, with Anderson, they had assets in their personal name, so that's why there was a discussion on that part. Let's see, Serena, find somebody, go to whatever state you're in, go to the Society of CPAs in your state. Let's see, I'm eating 15%, I'm upset, I'm going S Corp. I love it, Rusty, good, get her done. Let's see.
Says we should be receiving his care package soon. Card Shop
Love it. Thank
Reality also sent a care package, and his should be here on Thursday.
I love it, I love it. I love it. Tony's like, thanks, Coach. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's see. Okay, Roman, love it. Fred, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh goodness, I'm glad that you learned a lot, and hopefully you have not been, or hopefully you're not in the predicament where you've not been an S Corp. Rob, yes, thank you so much. Appreciate both of you being on, you and Gwen. Thank you so much for that.
And we also want to give a shout out to Mrs. Darkwater Meggs. I hope that you're still on here, and please tell Jason that we can't wait to see what he got from his diving today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Sarah K, thank you so much. Valerie, thank you. I'm glad it was awesome. Thank you so much. Daniel, CPA.
Sir.
Thank you so much. Glenda, Alyssa, Brian, right there. Oh, Northern Dance Academy. Does PPP money spent in the 8-week period need to be accrued in the 8 weeks? The deposit doesn't line up. I know, it's so frustrating. So go check out a video, and I talk about payroll in it. And I've got a video, I put it out within the last week. It should be pretty evident from the video what it is, but the long story short is that the forgiveness is based on the payroll as it occurred. And in fact, today's video, I talked a little bit about it, but I go in more depth in that other video. But the long story short is forgiveness is based on occurred. The banks that I'm working with are like, listen, if you want to pull money from PPP to pay payroll, do it, because that's what it's meant for. But the forgiveness will be based on the occurred. So anyways, all right, listen, oh goodness, the suspense is killing me. Brian, it'll be worth it. And oh goodness, we got to skip down. Let's see. John, let's see. Looks like you guys were helping each other. Love it. Blair, thank you. John, Alyssa, Brush Fire Chef, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Eugene, regarding souls and S Corps, can you retroactively request the form be taxed as one? If so, how far back? So get with your CPA on that. There are some forgiveness provisions in there. If you've already had the entity alive, you already have the EIN, you might be able to go back to 1/1/19. If anybody was like, oh, I can't believe you just said that. Well, you definitely can go back to 1/1/20. So get with somebody to see if you meet. There's 3 different ways that you can, quote unquote, ask for forgiveness of the IRS for filing an S corporation election late. Now, if you've already filed 19, I think you're out of luck, but you then could definitely do 1/1/20. Form 2553, and the IRS has streamlined that. But anyways, all right, Coach's Pit Barbecue. Let's see, Gene. Let's see, Fred, thank you so much. Nancy H, ciao for now. Frank, thank you so much. Blair, Elizabeth. Let's see, we got all kinds. XX, thank you. Eugene, Karen Parker, Crash and Burn. Jeffrey, you're a brother from another mother. JJ and the Boss Lady Rocks, thanks for all the tireless work. Love you guys, love you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Card Shop. I'm really looking forward to that. We will alert the office to let us know. Blair, wow, thank you so much. And let's see, John, do you have to clear S Corp info in book? I'm not sure what that means, John. Send me an email, jj@jjthecpa. com. In the regarding line, put S Corp and book in there. Then I'll know it. Put S Corp and book in the regarding line. Alyssa, but you have to be taxed as an S Corp by March 15th of the year you want to be. Alyssa, the short answer is yes, but there are 3 ways that you can file the election with a timely filed tax return. You can file it after the close of the year. So there are 3 ways, but yes, the automatic way is within 75 days of the year that you are wanting to elect it. But there are 3 ways, like you're not even trying to pull the wool over the IRS. You're like, hey, here's my circumstances. I want to be an S Corp. And in 27 years, I've always had the IRS go, okay, allows that. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see. Goddozer, we'll see ya. Oh, Fred's been an S Corp since 01. You're with freaking awesome CPAs. I love it, I love it, I love it. Let's see, Northern Dance Academy, you bet. Mark, sending the best from sunny Utah. Appreciate that. Kelly, if you have 2 or 3 LLCs, should you switch all to the S Corp? The ones that you're actively involved with, Kelly, I would definitely have a good conversation with your advisor. And then, you know, if your tax pro's like, well, ask them why they're going, well, because does it mean that they think you don't want to pay the fees? Do they think that you don't want to do payroll? Have them explain it. And if they're like, well, the IRS, stop, that's not how you explain stuff. You don't make up an explanation by saying, well, the IRS doesn't like, or the IRS. So I would say this, if you have 2 or 3, could you make all the LLCs disregarded entities, have one S Corp that owns all of them, and then you're dealing with one of them? Boom, mic drop, that's what I'd be doing. Seth, 7th row. If I get the PPP, can I write a fat check to pay for all the time I didn't receive income? You know what? I don't know enough about that to answer it. If you're a sole proprietor, it's Schedule C divided by 52 times 8. Boom, you can write yourself that check. It's the forgiveness amount. And then the employer portion, if it's wages, you just got to pay yourself what you've been paying. David P, awesome. Eugene, let's see. Oh, okay, yep, appreciate that. David P, let's see. We're considering selling substantial corp assets. I hope you're not a C Corp. Make sure you're not a C Corp, because C Corps don't have capital gain rates. Tom, do I jump in the water and stab myself first before cutting my bangs? No. I love it. Tom, you cut your bangs. Cut them, it's A-okay. I love it, I love it, I love it. What we're talking about there goes back far. Karen Parker, yep, video just crashed. You're remarkable. JJ, thank you so much, Amanda, getting your book soon. Awesome. Should we change organizational structure? No. David P, you can still be an LLC. You can be an Inc. You just can't be an LP. But the LLC can be a S Corp. The S Corp is a tax classification. The other is your legal designation. 2 separate things, so check with your attorney on that. Let's see, AVZ, how did I get here? Hopefully it was worth it. Card shop. Let's see, LMS, Mr. JJ. Kelly, thank you so much, I appreciate that. John, will PPP come in one chunk? Yes, the bank should get it all at once, and you do as well. Some of the banks are putting those in. Some of the banks are putting that in a special account, so then you'd want to talk to your bank about that. But it comes all at once. TNG customer service, boom, we sent them a koozie today. JJ, throw the knife in the water, great video, love it. Let's see, Blair and Northern Dance Academy, can you pay employer portion of simple IRA for the entire year even though wages haven't been paid yet? Nope, it'll only be for the wages that fall under the 8 weeks. So whatever the payroll is for those 8 weeks, whatever the applicable amount of matches on that will count. And let's see, we had, okay, Jet Lear. I'm a longtime financial advisor working on my EA. Boom, get it. The EA is freaking awesome. I love it. You're gonna kill it that you're a financial advisor and an EA. EAs are like, don't get enough respect. Let me just say it that way. You've helped me tremendously. You bet. Thank you so much for that. Laurel, I enjoyed you reminiscing about your granddad. Thank you so much for that. Daryl Dugan, CPA, hot topic. So the law says that the PPP forgiveness is not taxable, and appropriate payroll costs are not, inappropriate payroll costs are taxable. So does that mean the tax windfall from forgiveness? Daryl, email me on that. I know it's not forgiveness, but my understanding is that, basically you're going to debit the liability, not the expense, so to speak, or to get rid of the liability, you're going to have to credit expenses. So I know it's not technically taxable, but send me something on that. You must have come across something. Hot topic. Do share. I appreciate that. Goodness, I don't know, Donald. BOA, we'll see. Northern Dance, boo, you rock. I'm assuming that was a good one. Steven, can ER contribute profit sharing to 401k? Check with your bank, Steven, but my understanding is yes. Kitty says, JJ, say goodnight and sign off. All right, Kitty, I'm doing it. Thank you so much, everybody. Jason, thank you, Card Shop Reality. Appreciate you all so much. We will see you tomorrow with a special announcement. All right. Thank you so much. JJ the CPA here. You've never met a CPA quite like me.